I love water areas in video games. I am not kidding. Zelda's water dungeons routinely land a spot among my favorite dungeons in the series, and I adore places like the Seaside Kingdom in Mario Odyssey or the Iron Whale in Shovel Knight. There's a hotly contested question that we'll be discussing today: the presence of underwater exploration in Tears of the Kingdom. At this point, there is a nauseating amount of evidence on both sides, so instead of aiming to convince you that the answer is a yes or a no, I'd like to hit on a different aspect of the discussion, which is essentially what I think is a realistic middle ground for us to hold to, so that we don't get our hopes up too much, nor do we underestimate the developers. Just a warning ahead of time that we'll be briefly and vaguely describing, without showing, one quite vague image in the artbook that may or may not even have water in it. But if that still is something you want to avoid, be assured I'll be talking about it in a clearly marked off section at the end of the video, and it isn't at all my main evidence for this theory. Let's first start by recapping the aforementioned nauseating amount of arguments. This video is split into chapters, so you can skip this segment if you don't need a recap. Firstly, we see that animations exist for swimming type movements during Ascend, and also we see Link inside one of those spheres of water in the latest trailer, as if he's wading underwater. We also see the Ascend option light up while Link is underwater for a brief moment. This could just mean that Ascend comes on anytime when Link is not in freefall, or that he could rise from the underground through water to the surface. But it could also mean that Link could ascend to the surface of the water from the bed of the body of water, or when he's partially submerged in water, he could ascend to the top. People have also spotted a water vortex in Lake Hylia in certain promotional materials. This will actually be the thing I discuss the most in the main contents of this video. For a last collection of evidence, in the gameplay previews, we see that Link gets submerged under the water pretty far when he dives into a body of water, but this may just be to make things more realistic, and there's no button prompt to dive further in. We also see Link needing to empty one of these basins of water before he can access a chest inside of one, implying that he can't go into the water to access it, but this could just mean that Link can't open chests underwater, or didn't yet have a diving ability. It's true that most of what we've seen is early game, and in almost every Zelda game that has underwater exploration, you can't do it right away. So yeah, I don't even want to get into all that and give you a yes or no answer. Personally, I think it's looking less and less likely we'll have the ability to full-on explore freely underwater. Either that, or Nintendo just really wants to hold on to that last little secret. So for now, let me posit a happy medium theory. I think that even if we can't explore underwater freely, that there will be areas or buildings underwater that we can explore that are separated from the water, but still give us a beautiful view of the water. Think about some of the rooms in Berenia in Metroid Dread, with the big windows with views of the aquatic life outside. Do I have any actual evidence for this? Sort of. We see this vortex in Lake Hylia in one of the trailers on the Japanese website for Tears, which implies that there's at least somewhere we can go that is underwater, even if it just sucks us into a building underwater, or even if we see Link swimming only in a cutscene. Now this could just suck us into a cave system, but even then, since it is under Lake Hylia, a cave like that you'd think would likely have the look of a sea cave with a lot of lush aquatic plant life, or maybe it would look like the glittering caves of Tolkien's Middle-earth, similarly to how we see underground segments of other themes like fire or lava. There may even be cave systems that lead into an underwater facility of some sort that we can discover. So I would argue that whatever this vortex is, it will undoubtedly lead us to a beautiful water-centric area of some sort at least, or at least to something cool, perhaps to a boss or to a temple. It could even be something like what we see in Wind Waker when Link goes beneath the surface, or like the underwater bubbles in the Lake Kingdom in Mario Odyssey. One other theory I should mention is that Prince Sidon, when he's on our journey with us, may allow us to travel underwater and explore in some select or restricted segments. I actually have a theory in the works where I'll be talking about the possibility of some of the gameplay elements that may become possible when we're traveling with the champion's descendants, so stay tuned for that. It's clear that Nintendo has put so much into this game and has made it incredibly expansive. I'd be surprised if they didn't do anything interesting with any of the bodies of water they have in this game. They clearly created lush environments under the surface of the water for Breath of the Wild, as we've been able to see when players have exploited the camera in the game. So that's something that I think they'll take advantage of in some way, at least. In the announcement that this game was being delayed to 2023, Mr. Aonuma emphasized the extent to which the expanded world went beyond the Sky Islands and changing Hyrule. So I think it's pretty safe to say they have at least a good deal of interesting water-based experiences and encounters they've created for us in this game, since that is one of the logical next steps they had after Breath of the Wild for how to dig even deeper into this open world. So that's my approach to this question, and I think there's great reason for hope, even if at this point you've given up on free underwater exploration like we had in Twilight Princess or Majora's Mask. In this last segment, I'll be talking briefly about an image from the Artbook, so consider this your final warning. You can skip to the next chapter if you'd like. So there's an image on page 56 of the Artbook that looks like its ceiling may be transparent and show a view of some water above. It's kind of unclear whether it is actually water or just a fancy ceiling, but there is a concentrated area of light that looks like it could be the sun above shining through the water, and there does look to potentially be water bubbles in the image. There's another image on page, I believe, 95 that is even more vague, but also looks very much like it could be water. So I think there's a 70-80% chance that what we see here, especially in the first image, is an underwater building. So here we have even more compounded evidence for my theory of buildings that we can reach that are underwater and have a view into the waters. With that all being said, to recap, I'd say that there's a good chance for some wonderful and awesome content in this game involving water or water mechanics, so don't lose hope, all you lovers of underwater exploration. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm glad that I was able to reach 100 subscribers before the end of April. I'm very grateful for that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out another one of my past few videos. Not sure I can recommend all of my videos before the Hateno Village video because there was just some the audio quality varied a lot between some of those older videos. But in any case, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing so we can reach 200 subscribers before Tears of the Kingdom releases. And please feel free to contribute to the discussion down below. Thank you everybody and have a fantastical day.